Hi, I'm Minerva from MacBean Immigration and welcome back to our channel. On our last video, we explained a little bit of what express entry is and what the categories are for federal skilled worker program and what the requirements are, right? Now, that is if you are applying directly through the federal program for the federal skilled worker. Now, I'm going to touch a little bit on the provincial nominee program through the express entry stream. Now, with the federal skilled worker through the express entry, the criteria were that your education background, your language ability, your work experience, your age, and of course your proof of funds is what would make you eligible to set up an express entry profile and then be in the pool to be selected for an invitation to apply. Now, for the provincial nominee programs, these are programs that are geared specifically for provinces. So each province has their own set of criteria as what they're looking for, but majority of the time it is to fill the labor market that they have there, right? And for a particular skilled group that they're looking for. Now, the good news is that if you have an express entry profile that is set up and you also put an interest to a particular province, say Ontario, and you have been selected for a provincial nominee candidate, then you are eligible to gain 600 points. So that 600 points would add to whatever points you already have under the express entry. So for example, I'm just using figures here. If you have an express entry with a point standing, a CRS points, which is the comprehensive ranking score of 350 points, and you were successful in receiving a nomination from the province, then you would get an additional 600 points to that 350 points, making your total average points 950 points, making you eligible for the next round of draws that they would do, right? Because then, remember I was saying right now the score is around 491 points. So therefore you would score above that, way above that, to know that you would have gotten a selection. So how do I, or one may ask, how do I go about applying to a province, right? So what you do, you go on IRCC's website, you look at the provincial nominee programs, and you'll see the different provinces. And whatever province you are interested in, then you click on that province, and then you would see what the criteria are for putting an interest into being nominated to that province. So not all provinces, but most provinces, you have to put what is called an EOI, which is an expression of interest into their province. You want to know whether you're going to live there, settle there, you want to work there, and there are other criteria that they may be looking for too. So you put that on the expression of interest, but the main thing is that you're going to settle in their province, right? So whatever province you are interested in, it could be Alberta, it could be Manitoba, it could be Ontario, then you put an expression of interest to be in with that particular province. For some of the provinces that require expression of interest, such as Manitoba and Ontario, then you will be given an expression of interest number, Then they will assess you based on whatever details you have filled in. So similar to the express entry where you had to fill out certain criterias with your IELTS and your education history and your work history, it's the same that you're going to give to the province. Majority of the times, yes, you will have to have that IELTS, you will have to have that credential assessment ready, that with they say, okay, go ahead and apply, they'll tell you no, yes, you meet the criteria, go ahead and apply to the province. Then you would go ahead and submit all the documents that they require, and then you would wait to be selected. Again, they work with cutoff points. Majority of these provinces, they work with a point system, and you would, for instance, look and see what the point system is standing at, and if you meet that criteria, then you would be possible to get that nomination from the province. Now, many people think that these provincial nominee programs are for those that are already inside Canada. Whilst that may be true to a certain extent, meaning that people who have a Canadian education, a Canadian work experience, may be on the edge of, or they have more benefits of applying to a province, that is because they probably are applying under the international student stream. Now, there are different streams that the provinces may have, right? You have provinces that have yes for international students, and then you have for foreign workers, right? So yes, it is possible to be on the outside of Canada and also take advantage of these provincial nominee programs, right? The best way to know is to look for whatever, labor shortages that they have, what they are really seeking, and try to put your profile in such a way, or your interest in such a way, that you can apply as a foreign national, as a foreign worker, right? So again, each province will have their own criteria for selecting their workers, and then you will be able to apply for a provincial program, right? There are a few provinces too that cater for people that has a master's or PhD degree, and they are looking particular to attract those skill set to their provinces, right? So again, you look at all the criteria that the province is looking for. If the province that you're looking to settle has such requirements and you meet those requirements, please do not hesitate to go ahead and apply to the province. Now, I kind of like to promote the provincial nominee programs because they are more what you say now, they're less formal than the federal programs, and you have a one-to-one kind of relationship with that PNP program, meaning that for a federal program, it goes through different stages. Who starts to look on your application may not necessarily be the person who makes the final decision, right? With a provincial nominee program, it is more personal. Majority of the time, who starts to look on your application, majority of the time, your file stays with that person. And usually you can pick up the phone and call if there's something that, any communication to you and it's not clear, and they may be asking for additional documentations and you're not clear as to what those documentations are. You can pick up the phone and directly call to find out what it is that is required of you. So I usually like the provincial nominee programs for that. And also it is it is underrated in my estimation. That's just my opinion and not any legal advice there. Let me just put that disclaimer there, because a lot of people, it's not known to them that, a provincial nominee program may be an easier route to go than the federal express entry for federal skilled worker or Canadian experience class or even federal skilled trades worker, right? So again, once you have made an application to the province and you meet the criteria for the province, then the federal government makes the final decision, yes, and that is usually because the provinces checks your eligibility and gives you a nomination based on your eligibility. But then the federal government now comes in to check your admissibility. I'll explain the difference in another video, because there's always two criteria for anybody applying, whether temporarily or permanently, to come to Canada. One being your eligibility and one being your admissibility, which takes in your medical and security background. Okay. So once you have been selected, that's the most important part, then of course you will definitely stand more than a better chance of being selected for an invitation to apply to the provincial nominee program and also through the express entry, right? So again, both works hand in hand. Yes, there are provincial nominee programs that are non-express entry, that you can look for programs that doesn't fall under the express entry, and you can also apply to those. But today we have covered how the provincial nominee programs works in line with your current express entry. I hope this information was informative for you. If it was, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button to know when new content is available. And for any immigration advice or any legal advice regarding immigration, whether visiting, working, studying, or living in Canada, please contact macbeanimmigration@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp at 416-991-8131. See you in the next video.